Good morning, everyone. I'm Michael. I'm going to be your host for round about the next half hour. Welcome along to our webinar to help celebrate International Accounting Day. So we're running a series of webinars to celebrate this. This is part 3 of our webinar series. So we're looking this morning at reporting made easy. So we're going to spend around about 30 minutes with you on that. Now, hopefully you've seen the little bit of housekeeping on the slides that we were playing, just as we were waiting to get started there. So as usual, your microphone will be muted. If you've got any questions, you just need to click the little speech bubble icon, and then you'll have access to the little box. So pop your questions and your comments in there, click send, and we'll try our best to pick them up as we're working through the session this morning. Today we're joined by Abby, Jackie and Matt, who will all be on hand in the background to help answer those questions. So keep them busy, do engage with us, keep your questions and your comments coming. We'll try and pick up as many as we can. We've got just about 200 or so of you logged in at the moment, still increasing. So expecting it to be busy, so do bear with us if you do submit any questions. If anyone wants a copy of today's slides, those are available to download via the little link on your taskbar down the right hand side of the screen. If you haven't had a chance to look at the full series of webinars that we're running this week, we're up to session number 3 today. We've also got session 4 and 5 still to run. So session 4 looking at quick tips on how to protect your data, and session 5, which will be running tomorrow, which is shortcuts for success within your software. So we'll be looking at those little snippets, those nuggets of information, just to help you use your software that little bit easier. And then we end the week with our International Accounting Day quiz. 2 opportunities to attend that quiz. And if you do attend any of the at least four of the first 5 sessions, plus one of the quiz sessions, then you will actually earn the Smart Accounting badge, and that will be issued within the next couple of weeks if you do qualify for that. Links, if you haven't yet registered for these sessions, are available on the follow-up email, as will a recording to today's session. So what are we covering this morning? So I'm going to start with version 30, quickly look at the AI report finder, and which sort of follows on a little bit from the which report option that we've got available, that's been available from our help center for many years. We look at using favorites, batch reporting, the drillable management reports, which have been around for a long time. A lot of people still don't realize they're there. Which can help you get at the information and help you understand your reports that bit easier very quickly. We'll look at filters, so reducing the information to get at the information you want to include on your reports, and also the send to Excel, which is often overlooked. So we'll be looking at that and how quick and easy it is just to, whatever information's on your screen, just send that across to Excel very quickly, just literally the click of a button. We'll then end the session just by explaining a little bit more about the additional support. And if there are any outstanding questions, we'll try and, as I say, we're going to try and pick as many up as we can during the session, but we'll hang around and maybe pick up some of those as well. Right, so let's get stuck in then. And we're going to start with the report finder. So I'll start with a slide, run a quick demo, back to the slides, quick demo again. So it is quite a bit of a whirlwind tour on what we're covering this morning. Now, the report finder makes it easier than ever to find the right report. That's its intention. If you've used Sage for a while, or maybe you just started using it and you're getting stuck into the reporting area, there's about over 900 reports available, depending on your level of software, your version, and what options you've got. But potentially over 900 reports available within your software. So one of the most common questions is, right, how do I run a report on this? Where do I find it? Or maybe you're looking in the wrong area. Sometimes you're looking for an invoice-based report, but you'll be in customers, or vice versa. You're just in the wrong ledger. So the idea of the report finder, which we've introduced in version 30, is that it'll help you to find the right report. So depending on what you're looking for, it's available on version 30 as long as you've got a Sage account attached. And It enables you to basically type in some keywords and it'll search not just in the ledger you're in, but it'll search throughout the software. So you can use everyday language as well to try and find the reports you need. There are some example searches to get you started as well. So when you expand the option, which we'll see in just a second, you'll see, as you can see on the screenshot, it's got some examples and you can just click the button to try it. Let's have a quick look at that. So I'll quickly switch across to my screen and we'll get stuck into some demos. So you should see my screen at the moment. I am in version 30. I am on the professional level of the software, but again, it won't really matter for what we're covering in today's session. So if I just pop into customers as an example, and we pop into reports, and on version 30, you've got this new report finder option. You'll also get the little link on the top toolbar as well, which will, depending on if you're in favorites or the report finder will change. But to get the report finder in version 30, you must have a Sage account attached to your Sage accounts. So if we pop into Report Finder, you'll get this basic search box. And the idea is you can search for whatever you want. So if I just type profit as an example, and I can do search just on that. And it'll search the available reports in Sage, and it should give you a list of results there. So again, I'm in customers. So what you'll be used to if you use Sage for a little while is that you would probably need to know what ledger you were in, where that report was in the first place. So the likes of the just a basic product profit report or a monthly profit and loss by department, depending on what level of the software you're on, you would have had to go into the relevant ledger to find that one previously. But this one, it means that you can run that from wherever you are. So I can just select that report and I can preview it. So I could set that going. But just clear that as well. We'll just go back. So this is the standard sort of search box that you're going to get when you first access this option. You can click the option to expand it, and this is where you'll get where you can use natural language, so you can actually sort of ask it a question. So in this case, I need the sales analysis for last month. Can you fetch that? You would just click the link and it's going to bring that type of information through for you. So nice, easy option, that one. Now, if you're in version 30 and you haven't got that option, it's because you haven't got a Sage account attached to your account just yet. And if you need to do that, you would just go into settings and you can go down to user management, into users. And what you'll be able to do is just edit your user and follow that through to essentially link your Sage account to your Sage Accounts company. Again, you'll find more information about these. So I have provided the information on the handout. So if you have downloaded that, you'll have the direct links and it'll guide you through that type of thing. So Paul, your question there, you can't see the report finder on your version 30. I think it's got to be 30.1, sorry, so do check your version. But other than that, you just need to link your Sage account to your software. Right, as I said, bit of a whirlwind tour on some of these features, so quite a bit to get through in the half hour, but we don't want to take up too much of your time. Some of these will be, you'll probably want more information, a bit more in depth, and others you'll think, well, actually I knew that, so we don't want to spend too long on them. The idea is if you do spot something that you do want more information on, then you can get into a help center. Sometimes there's recorded webinars on them as well, and you can find out more about them. It's just to almost like raise the awareness of the features in some instances. Anyway, we'll go back to the slide, and next we want to pick up on favorites. Favorites is something that's been around for a long time. Really simple option. It's available not only for reports, but for layouts as well. It means you can flag them, the ones that you use all the time. Again, a bit like the report finder, the intention is to help you get at that information just that little bit easier. But it's a super simple feature, this one. It means that you're not having to plow through the various folders to try and find the report that you want. You flag it as favorites, and when you go into that ledger, it'll be presented to you. So again, let me just switch back to my screen and we'll show you a quick demo. Now you'll find it's available in when you go to print invoices, generate statements for your customers, or just when you access reports in any of the ledgers. But again, let's pick on customers. So if we pop into there, pop into reports. Now, if you've got nothing flagged as a favorite and you're on version 30 and you've got your Sage account linked, it will default to the report finder window. If you've got anything flagged as a favorite, it will default to your favorites folder. So you can see I've already got some flagged there. If I just take them out of there, so click on the little star. And what it means is when you're working through the software, so let's say age debtors as an example. As you'll see on age debtors, there's loads of variations of things like your age debtors reports. So there's versions of the contacts, versions of the details. If I scroll down, there's also summary ones as well. You probably find that you use one, maybe two of them. So there is a one that you're after and you're thinking, well, right, which is the one I normally do? Yeah, you can see from the last sort of run date and time, which is the one you are after. But rather than me go into the age debtors folder and have to find the one I'm after and remember which folder it's in the first place, what I can do is I can just click the little star next to it. Now, if I do that for, say, a customer details report as well, let's just pick on that one, customer list, I'll flag that one. Literally, you click on the star. What it means is when you come into a specific ledger and you go into reports, it'll default to your favorites folder and it'll list the reports that you've got flagged. So these are the two I've just literally flagged. I can rearrange that list as well, just literally drag them into the order I want them. So, you know, if you get to, let's say, a month end and you always run your reports in a certain order, you can pop them in that order if you want to. You can add as many to your favorites. If you want to remove one, as I did earlier, again, you just click on that little star. It gets rid of it, removes it from that list. It doesn't delete the report, it just removes it from your favorites list. So basically, you're just flagging it when you first go into, when you're going into that area. Keep your questions coming. See, there's loads coming through, so do bear with us. Penny, your quick question there, just going back to Report Finder, you mentioned you haven't got that at the moment. You need to make sure your software's up to date and you need to make sure that you have a Sage account linked to your software. Again, if you've downloaded the handout, that goes for anyone else, if you download the handout, it will include a link to the Help Center article. If you have a look at that Report Finder, access the relevant article and it'll guide you through that process on how to get up and running on that. Right, moving swiftly on. Next, we're going to pick on another time-saving opportunity here, and that's batch reporting. Now, batch reporting is something we have run webinars on in the past. We do run it occasionally. So batch reporting. Now, just to sort of get this one out of the way, it's something that's it's an option that's not available in Sage 50 Accounts Essentials. So you would need to be either on the standard level or the professional level. And what this does is, the idea is that you flag your reports and you run them as a batch. So you run the reports simultaneously. Now you can create these sort of batch reports if you want to. There's an example one there I'll show you in a moment as well, show you how easy it is to use this feature. But the idea is it simplifies your processes. So when you get to the likes of month end, there's probably a series of reports that you would run, whether it's your key management reports, so you may work at, you know, in your build up to your VAT return, you may run a series of reports. You may work in credit control. Again, there's probably more than one report that you would run regularly. So rather than you sitting there running a report, letting it run, generating the information that you need, and then moving on to the next one, the idea is you create this batch, you set that sort of single batch report running, and it'll generate all the relevant reports for you. So again, let's have a look at this feature. Back to my screen. So as I mentioned, It's not on essentials. You need to be on the standard level or the professional level. If you're not sure about your level of the software, it should just tell you at the top here. So on mine, you can see it says Sage 50 Accounts Professional. If you're on the standard level, it'll just say Sage 50 Accounts. If you're on Essentials, obviously that's going to say Sage 50 Accounts Essentials. So if it does say Essentials, you won't have this feature that I'm about to show you. So batch reporting, it's available via the Tools menu. So there it is. If I go into batch reports, there's a couple of example ones. As I'm on the professional, I get the purchase order list and the sales order list and status options as well. But here's a one that, good example, where it's going to run, like say a trial balance, profit and loss, and balance sheet. It'll run those three reports simultaneously. So we can select that. If we just preview it, it'll provide me with one set of criteria. Now I can add other reports to that batch if I want to as well. So if I was running, say, at a month end and I like to run a trial balance, a profit and loss, and a balance sheet, I might also run any age debtors, age creditors, and maybe other reports as well. So again, I can batch them all together, list them on this list. I select the relevant report, run it. I'm presented with one set of criteria. So all of the criteria that's used by all of the reports that are batched together. So because it's just the trial balance, the profit and loss, and the balance sheet, the only thing I'm prompted to do is specify the period and which chart of accounts do I want to use. So I am in the 2023 financial year on this set of data, just in case you're wondering about that. So we run it for that full financial year. Just accept that chart of accounts. I'll OK that. And very quick on mine, quite a small set of data that I'm using today. And for the three reports that it's run there, you'll see on the report preview, we've got the trial balance, the profit and loss, and the balance sheet. We've got a tab for each of those. So all of the reports that you want, it will just appear as an additional tab. Now from here as well, obviously that saves me sitting running one, letting it run. For yourself, it may take a few minutes to run a report, output it, and then you're on to the next one. So, if you are in that position where you've got hundreds of thousands of transactions, your reports are taking a good few minutes to run, it means that you can get on with something else while your reports are running in the background. You're not sat there waiting and watching. I know some people probably like that, a little break. But it does mean from here as well, we can toggle between the various tabs. We've got the option of printing, emailing, exporting, and the other usual options as well. You'll see on the print, email, and export options, we've got arrows. So if I click on the drop down, it gives me an option then. Do I want to print the current report that I'm viewing? So do I want to print this balance sheet only that I'm viewing? Do I want to print all of the reports, or all three of the reports in this case, as a single print job? Do I want to print them all, but do I want to print them as individual jobs? It means I can then go through and maybe if I output them to different printers, or maybe there's, of the three, actually, I don't want to print the balance sheet. So I could go down that, print as an individual job, and I just cancel the one I don't want. So again, good little time saver, that one. So if you were wanting to create your own batch report, just be in here, you've got the new option at the top. And from there, what you're able to do is start going through your reports from the various areas and sort of add them onto the right-hand side. And you would pop in a name, a description, save that. Or you can even just base it around the example one, then edit that one. Again, you will find that recording. So on the slide, I did include the link to the video, which is the webinar recording where we've covered batch reporting previously, and that will give you a bit more detail on setting that up if you are interested. Now, sticking with that theme of batch reporting, if I go on to my next area, it's going to stick with management reports. Now, this is something that's available for everyone, what we term drillable management reports. And this enables you, when you preview your management reports, to get from the top level figures, so your trial balance figures, or your sales figures or your profit and loss, to get from those figures, you can very quickly get down to transaction level information. So if you're looking at your reports, and it might be for yourself, you just want that better understanding of how the reports work, or maybe you get questioned saying, right, you've generated this report, but where does that figure come from? This will help. It will give you a much better understanding, and you can drill down to get at the information you need. So let's have a look at this. The drillable, the key reports that you're probably going to use the drillable option on, or the trial balance, the profit and loss, and the balance sheet. So again, the ones that we've just seen on the batch reporting as well. So let's switch back and we'll have a quick look at these. One of my favorite features, this one. It used to be quite a lengthy call when I was on support back in the day, where someone would contact us and say, where does this figure on my profit and loss, where does that come from? And you would have to work backwards to try and get that information. But Drillable Management Report makes it really easy. So just in nominal codes, we'll go into the profit and loss. I'm just going to preview it. And I'll just accept the criteria, just so you can see this as well. So let's say we're looking at a profit and loss. Now, I'm not too concerned about the period figures and the year-to-date figures being the same or anything like that at this stage. All I want to demonstrate is that where you've got information that appears in blue, you can drill down on that. So year to date, we've got this 193, just over 193,500. So if I click on that figure, I'm thinking, right, where does that figure come from? So if we click on that, it drills down. Now, this is what I would term drill down level 1. So this drills down on that product sales value. And it's saying, right, well, for your product sales, it's using your chart of accounts essentially. And actually, the 193,000, it's made up of values from these, in this case, these 3 nominal codes. This is what's being contributed to that 193,000. So we got from nominal 4,000, just under or just over 183,000. We've got a lower figure, obviously Sales South, and then we've got the Sales Scotland, just shy of 8,500. But from here, we might be thinking, well, where's that figure come from? Again, I can click on that to drill down. When I click on it to drill down, it runs another report. Again, it's a bit like the nominal, the batch reporting we're looking at. It's adding extra tabs at the top. So I can still toggle between them if I need to. But that final one that I clicked on, if I just zoom in so you can see that, you can see I'm all the way to transaction level information. So we're looking at the relevant date range. We're looking at, in this case, nominal 4002. So that's the figure that I clicked on this initial breakdown. I clicked on this figure here. So this nominal activity essentially is showing me the transactions that are making up that value. So really quick to get at that information. If you're not sure about something, now Drillable, it's a few people have mentioned it's. So, sorry, who was that? Christine, you mentioned, is it not available for the transactional reports? It's not. It's the standard trial balance, profit and loss, and balance sheet at the top of the nominal codes window. There are a few other reports dotted around, like age debtors, age creditors, where there is a drillable version, but it's quite limited, the number. But on the management reports area, really useful. You can get out that information really quickly. Again, you'll need to preview it. So again, let's just pick on the trial balance. So I just run that report. Again, shows me some of the figures in blue there. When it's in blue, I know I can drill down on it. So if we just pick on a value, so again, we'll go back to the sales option. We give it a click. It'll open a new tab. It runs the nominal activity in this case. Doesn't need to go to chart of accounts level, something that's not used for the trial balance. So I can get at that transactional information really, really quickly. Excuse me. Now again, when you've previewed that report, if you've got multiple tabs open, you will be able to print as a batch, etc., if needed. Right, let's move on again. quickly pop back to the slides. As I say, quite a bit to cover in the half hour. So next we're going to look at filters. Just bear with me one moment there. So we're going to look at filters. Filters used to be termed search. It's something that, it's a great little feature. And one of the most common sort of reporting queries that we get is, well, I'm running this report, but actually I need to change it because I only want to pick up certain information. So filters is great for that. You can use them to restrict the records that appear in your ledgers. So if you're looking at your customers, for instance, you might think, well, I only want customers in a certain area, or the ones that have a zero balance. I'm not interested in those. Or maybe you're just interested in the ones that have a zero balance. They're the ones you're going to contact. Why haven't you got a balance with us? So it's a great way of filtering your list and getting at the information you want. Now, there's loads of options when it comes to building filters. We do have a webinar coming up. I think that's next week, where we will be going into a lot more detail on using filters, but hiding zero balances, displaying recent records only. There are loads of uses for this option. So let me just give you again a quick example of a couple of the common uses of this one. So let's get back to customers, and what we've got, let's have a look. Actually, let's base it on suppliers. You can see I've got a couple of suppliers that have a zero balance in this instance, and let's say I want to hide them from my list. Let's say they're regular suppliers that we use, but actually we don't want them on our list because we've got a zero balance at the moment. So what we would do is we would go into the filter option at the top. We've got a blank window here. You might have information already entered. If you need to reset it, you can just click clear form, and you would just do where, and we'll do balance. So I can either scroll down that, or if you know what field you want to search on, you could just type the first letter and it'll start scrolling through those. So where balance, and I'm going to say is not equal to, and the value I'm going to leave set to 0. And when I click apply, click close, you'll find that the two accounts that I did have with a zero balance, they're now hidden. Now let's say I wanted the zero balance only. I'll go back to the filter and I'll just change the condition, and I could say is equal to 0. Click close, and I'm left with the results. So it's a great way of, if you've got all the accounts that you just don't want displayed, maybe you want to go into your transactions list and you think, right, well, actually I only want transactions in my current financial year. You could easily do that. You could go to filter and do where transaction date is equal to or after, and pop in the date of the first day of your financial year, for instance. And it's a great way of hiding your older information, your historic information, which maybe you just don't need to be displayed. Now, there's loads of uses for that. Obviously, it's a great way if you're running a report and you think, actually, I don't need all that information. There's certain records I want to hide, or certain records I want to identify to pop onto the report. It just adds that so much more flexibility to your reports in Sage. Now, while we're on this theme, I'm just going to quickly go back to the slides just for one moment. And I want to quickly mention the Send to Excel option. It's an option that's often overlooked. It's a nice, simple option. It's just available just about throughout the software. And it's a quick and easy way to send that data across to Excel. Literally one click. You'll find it just about on every toolbar that you access. So one click, and whatever information is displayed, whether it's transactional information or things like your list of records, it'll send that information across for you. So often overlooked, and some people will often say, well, I've got this list of customers, which report do I want to run so I can get that information in Excel? And actually, if that's all you're actually after, just maybe you're filtering your list and then clicking Send to Excel. it's sometimes cracks, it just makes that job that much easier and that much quicker as well. So send ledger data entry information, so lists of records, transaction activity, batch data entries. So if you're entering a batch of transactions, you want a printed copy of that, such as a journal, for instance, you can send that information across to Excel. So available throughout your software, been around for a long time, this option. So a quick demo of that one, just before we wrap up. So again, let's just pick on customers. We've got the send to Excel option. Now it's based on what's listed. So it doesn't matter if I actually go down and make a selection. When I click send to Excel, it would still send everything. So I don't have to do that selection. If I only wanted to send certain records, the previous example where we mentioned filters, you would do that first. So apply a filter so that you've got the records that you're after, and then send to Excel. But literally, click send to Excel. It's telling me, it's sending those records across. So really quick. Obviously yours may take a little bit longer. You've probably got more than 31 customers, which is all I have on my list. And then it's sent across. And remember, if you there's maybe additional information that you do want to send, you might want to send an email address, for instance. You might not want to send an inactive column. You can configure your columns as well. So something we will be covering in the shortcuts option. But if I right click, and let's say I want to display the email address, maybe I don't want to display the inactive column, don't want to send that, I'm not bothered about the credit limit, switch that off, and then I'm back and I can click send to Excel, and the information that's displayed, that's what it's going to transfer across for you. So again, great little option, that one, been around for a long time, that one as well. Right, any additional questions, get them in there. I think we're nearly on top of them. We've been really busy this morning. So again, we've still got Abby, Jackie and Matt in the background to help answer those questions. So if you do have any, quickly pop them in there. We'll hang around just for a few more minutes, just to pick up as many as we can. If you weren't quite with us at the beginning of the session, if you want to submit any, just click your little question mark, the speech bubble icon on the toolbar on the right. It'll expand and you can start typing in that box in the bottom right hand corner. Just as a reminder, this is the series of webinars that we are running to celebrate International Accounting Day, which is on Sunday at the end of this week. So our next session, quick tips to protect your data. Jackie will be guiding you through that one, looking at things like scheduling, backups, etc., checking your data. I'll be picking up on shortcuts for success tomorrow. And then we've got our quiz, which is Thursday afternoon and also Tuesday next week. If you want to qualify for the Smart Accounting badge, you must attend at least 4 of the first 5 sessions plus 1 of the quiz sessions. And as I say, that should be sent out to you within about the next 2 weeks. If you haven't yet registered, there is a link on the handout, but it will also be included on the follow-up email, as will a recording to today's session. So if you've missed anything or want a bit of a recap on anything we've covered, do watch out for that. Quick question from Helen there. Helen was asking, can you send to Excel when using departments? So when you're using departments in the software, if I just quickly go back to my screen for a moment. So if you're working in the departments area, you've still got the send to Excel option, which will send this information across. If you're talking about running reports, so reports, you've got a couple of other options when you're running a report. So if we just click on it doesn't really matter what it is, just this one as an example, you've got those 2 reporting options at the top as well, depending what you want to send across to Excel. Have a play with those because you can get varying. Sometimes it's the report format you want, and the other times it'll be the data information you want. So that's going to send whatever the report is as opposed to the list of records. Right, just while we're giving you a chance to pop in those final questions, I'm just going to pop onto my final slide there. And First of all, thank you all for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I mentioned, bit of a whirlwind tour to help celebrate International Accounting Day. Get yourself signed up for some of the other sessions as well. If you've got any thoughts, ideas, or you just want to give us a score or submit any suggestions for what you'd like to see us cover going forward, then if you can take a minute to complete the survey that should pop up as you leave, that would be greatly appreciated. We love reading those comments just to see if we've hit the mark or not. The follow-up email that I mentioned, it should be with you in the next couple of hours. It'll include the link so you can register for the other webinars. And our webinar timetable currently runs up to the end of December. So do have a look at that, see if there's any sessions that do interest you. Have a look at our recordings page as well. There will be a link on that email to the recordings. We've been running webinars for a good few years now. So there's something in the region, probably over 100 different recordings available now on different areas of the software. So if you are fairly new, it's a good way to catch up on some of those sessions you would have missed. And they're available obviously 24/7. Right, let's get back and we'll start picking up some of the questions. But if you're about to leave, thanks for coming along. Hope you've enjoyed it. Do fill out that survey as you leave, and hopefully we'll see you on some other sessions. But let's get back, and I'll try and pick up some of the questions myself as well. So I've got a quick question from Chris there that's just come through, going back to the batch reporting option. If you want to run a batch report for a certain project and related projects, can this work with batch reporting? What batch reporting isn't going to do, it isn't going to go back to, if you're working in the projects area and you've got a certain one highlighted, for instance, batch reporting won't take that into account. Similar if you were running batch reporting and it were, you were including something like an age debtors report, it's not going to look at your customer list and say, right, well, you've only got these 5 highlighted. So what you would need to do is when you run the report, and let's see if I can add see if I can quickly demonstrate this one. So we'll pop into batch reports and I'll just edit this one and we'll try and add a project report. See if we can do that. Let's just do something like a project list. No doubt this will be the one area I've chosen a project report. I've probably got nothing entered in projects, but I've just clicked Save As. I'll put my initials in. I'll just save it. And if we just close out and then come back into batch reporting, you can see the one, it's got that file name in that I've just entered. So that should include the project report. If we run that one, so I'll just preview it. What we should now get is we've got the additional criteria that was included on the project report that I've just added. So if I've added in something like an age debtors report as well, for instance, it's going to pull through the customer criteria as well. So this is one of the limitations in that I can specify which project I want to include. Well, actually, I've got some on there. So it means that I could run that one. So run that series of reports. I've got the additional one at the top there, a project list, and that's based on what I've selected as per that criteria. So I hope that makes sense for you there, Chris. Sorry, I hadn't shared my screen there. That's a good start. So let me just quickly show you that one. So just gone into batch reporting, I'd basically found my report and we edited it. And all we did was we added the project list report in there. So I've just, again, let's pop a customer one in as well. So we'll do customers. We'll choose an age debtors. Just pick on that one. Just double click it. It'll add it to the right hand side here. So these are the now 5 reports that I've got there. Save it. And then if I just now run that report, we'll preview it. And again, it should give me additional criteria. So the standard criteria that I did have for the 3 management reports, which we demoed earlier, we've got the project report added, so it gives me the additional criteria there. And because I've now included an age debtors report in that, I've also got the age debtors criteria that I would be presented with if I was to run that report itself. So I just specify all that criteria, just OK it, and it'll run the reports for me. So I've got the tabs along the top. So what I was just mentioning there is it's not going to look back at my customer list and see, right, you've got these 5 or 10 or however many highlighted. It's going to run it for all, but it will take the filter, the criteria values into account when you run that report. Hope that makes sense. Right, okay, so Brian, you mentioned there your standard TB, profit and loss and balance sheet are not drillable on preview. They should be, which means that you're using a really old set of reports. What I'll do, Brian, I'll get in touch with you. I'll just drop you an email afterwards. It should just be a case of restoring a copy of your reports to make the drillable ones available to you. So it's just, I assume that you've been using Sage for or your company has for a very long time, and you, for whatever reason, the way that you've upgraded or maybe you've restored in the past, it means that you haven't got the drillable reports available to you because they've been around for a long time. So I'll drop you an email, Brian. You should expect that in the next 5 minutes or so. Right, okay, we'll wrap the webinar up at that point. So once again, many thanks for coming along. I hope you have enjoyed it, found it useful. Do take that minute to complete the survey as you leave. We love reading those comments. We really appreciate it if you can do that, and watch out for your follow-up email. And hopefully we'll see you on some of the other International Accounting Day webinar series. Many thanks, and hopefully we'll see you again.